Ready? Okay, so now we are ready to reassemble the completed wheel cylinder assembly back onto the hub. So you can see we've dressed up this parking brake piston here just so it didn't want to drag or anything. Now, one thing I want to bring to your attention is how the location of this pin is here, where the hole with the cotter key goes through. And this is symmetrical and will go either direction, but this is the way it came apart. So we're on the front side of the vehicle. This is facing aft, and that's the way it came apart on front and rear on this vehicle. It does look symmetrical, so it looks like you could spin it around the other way. Now remember, this is the thing that we started out with in the beginning that was the missing link for disassembly. If you don't have that little cotter pin pulled out, then you can't get enough room to work. That was the first thing that we pulled loose when we started taking all this apart, which means it's the last thing that's going to go back in once all the other guts are inside this unit and you've got it all put together. So here we're going to start putting these levers back in place. So remember we said that the lever had an offset, and this you can see very clearly here. There's a step in this offset. Those offsets need to be inboard. So this would actually be the left side, okay? And then this one would be the right side, because those are they're coming inboard. If you have them backwards, it'll look like this, and that makes these pieces be too wide. So as long as you have them like this, you're going to be correct, okay? So basically the idea here is that we're going to do it in a few steps. Bring this into place, put in one of the levers, which actually I did the one on the other side first. I put this one in first, and then put the horseshoe ring back on, or circlip, whatever you want to call it. Then I put this one in, put the horseshoe ring on. Once both of those were in, then we put the center lever in, and it actually goes like this, okay? It goes in like that, above that piston there, after the other two levers are in place, and then we pass the dowel pin through that hole that you see there, and it holds the levers and this center piece all together. So in a nutshell, that is the primary objective of what we're going to do. Now once all the levers are in, then we align these holes here together, and we pass that cotter pin through that assembly. Once the cotter pin is through, everything is mechanically linked. We put the 4 bolts back in that hold this cap onto the wheel cylinder, and the job at that point in time will be complete, and we're ready to put a little bit of sealant on this flange and stick it all back on the hub and bolt it on with those 2 1/2-inch bolts on the other side.
Check.
So this goes in. Actually, I'm going to try to slide this up further. There. Put that over like that. Take one of our little horseshoe clips, lock, whatever you want to call it, circlip, snap ring, not really a snap ring, it doesn't snap.
And he did kind of beat those down with a hammer after.
Yeah, they get a little damaged. They get damaged when you're taking them off. That's kind of how they work. trying to do this so you can actually video it.
Yeah.
So it's not the easiest thing to do. So I dropped it. Yeah. Tell you what, for video it actually might be easier to do it from the top side, like that. We're going to let the gravity help us like we did on the other side.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I can come through.
Can I hold it in place with my finger?
I think I got it right here. If I can just get a grip on it.
Tell you what, why don't I hold it with my finger and you flip it?
I got it, yeah. These pliers aren't doing me any favors. Let me go get me a long straight pair. I can get on it.
You did it from the top last time.
Yeah, but I'm trying to get it where you can film it too.
Oh, that's okay. I mean, you get the idea. You gotta pinch those things. You gotta pinch them together and close it up.
There we go. Maybe I can do it from this angle now if I can get on it. Actually, I may be able to get it with these now.
There you go.
There it is. All right.
Yep. Yeah, so
So-
we do the same for the other side.
Yep.
It was a two-man job to take them off for me just because grease and get it on.
Okay. I think my long pliers actually might get on this one. There we go. There we go.
Check.
It's got it. It's nice and tight. Can't go off. Yep. Okay. Ready to shoot?
Yep. It's all good. I've
Okay.
been taping the whole time.
All right. Okay, and when you get it that far, then we go ahead and take this center piece. Kind of have to get it in the right location. Goes in like that. And we got the brass pin, which goes like this and links everything together mechanically. Like that.
Sweet.
And that's how that works. Now the final thing we got to do is pass the cotter pin through this hole and make it marry between that top part there. So you got to pass it through from front to rear and then bend the cotter pin over from the back side. Straighten that out a little bit to get it to go through. Okay, see it's passing through.
Yep.
It's all the way through there. Now to make sure you got the holes lined up. It should all be mechanically linked now, and it is. Try to push this through and we'll bend the other side of it.
That was the same problem I had. Eventually
Yeah.
got it in
Yeah.
there, and then I just kind of pulled it through and bent a little bit.
Yep, and that's all you got to do. And then
And then took the pliers and pulled it from the other side.
yep, like this. It's right there.
Yep. As I say over in England, brilliant. Brilliant.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's actually bent over on the front side a lot now. I'm about to straighten that back out. I'm afraid it's going to break though. I don't have any more of these. Oh, it can't go anywhere. I'll just bend this down because it's stuck there now, you know? There. Don't put that in the video. Now we are ready to bolt this e-brake cap back on. Yeah, so see when you pull up on the e-brake cable, it lifts on that, which pushes on this lever and then forces that lever down, which then inside here makes the brake shoe spread apart. Okay. All right, so now we've got, this is tight, pins in, cotter pins in, all that's good to go. We're gonna take some sealant. You may have the proper gasket for this, which we don't, so we're going to improvise, adapt, and overcome because we're Marines and that's what we do. We're not going to wait to order a gasket from some God knows where in the UK, and we don't plan on going through any creeks or rivers. This is an anaerobic sealant, so as soon as you shut the air off to it, it starts to do its job. So when it's tightened against the backing plate, the air will be shut off and it'll seal up. Okay. And this is held on with the two 1/2-inch bolts. They pass through from inboard to outboard. Now, when you go to put this back in, you may have to mess with the brake shoes because the mechanical pieces inside of this unit that work with the levers can be too tight. They may have more of a tighter gap than what you see right here on the levers. If that's the case, you have to mess with the brake shoe holders to get them to separate inside the unit and give you more room to install this.
And you did that by
Just a screwdriver. Oh. We goofed up and put that cap on the wrong side. Luckily I noticed it. Which I had no choice because it was hidden, so. Tighten this up. That's a 15 millimeter. It's an 18 millimeter on here. And the bleeder screw is a 11 millimeter, or really a 7/16 seems to fit it better. Okay, so now we got those put where they belong. We've scraped the old gasket off the back side of this. This one's fighting us some, so we may have to, I had to lift up on this earlier. See that piston comes up, it went up? Okay.
Yep, it's in.
So now you see how we did that. Just gotta manipulate it a little bit. Then you can get the bolts started that hold it on.
Actually, the elbow thing goes in here, right?
It does. But,
Where'd that come
but
from
that's
then?
on the, huh?
What would that come off of?
That's the banjo bolt. That, the banjo goes on the end of this. So
Oh,
that-
okay, okay. See, that's a dumb guy question.
Wheel cylinder assembly back onto the hub and tightened up. We've got the 4 bolts tied up here. Now the only thing we need to do is pop this boot back down over the top of the housing there that holds the e-brake cable in and seals it up. And we have to reconnect our brake hose after we put the banjo fitting on the new hose. So there is a copper gasket that goes between here and here, and then we'll throw that on and tighten it up.
Okay.
Yeah. So when you buy new hoses, they do not have these banjos. Now this is a front banjo. It has 1 pin and it sets at about a 45-degree angle. The rear is just straight, does not have this on it, and it has 2 pins. So 2 pins and straight is the rear, 1 pin and 45-degree angle is the front.